Hello everyone, this is Easy Natural English with Liam, where I speak to you in natural English that's a bit easier with no script and no editing, so you can get used to natural English in a slightly easier way. But today might be a bit more difficult than usual, but I'm going to try to make it as easy as possible. So I'm going to talk about how to become President of the United States, or basically what is the process for the election. Because today is the 3rd of November. Here in Japan, it is now the evening, which means in the United States, most people will probably be sleeping now. Because it is the early hours of the morning, but soon they will all wake up and they will start voting. So today is the day of their general election. So general election is when you choose a leader for your country, so a prime minister or a president. Here in Japan, they have a prime minister. In the UK, we have a prime minister. But in America, they have a president. So in a general election, everybody needs to cast their vote or needs to vote for the person that they want to become president. But before they get to that, what is the process? So today I have my computer to help me so I can remember the steps. So let's take a look. So step one is a set of requirements or a set of conditions, so things you need. So first, you need to be a natural born citizen of the United States. So it means you need to be born in the United States or perhaps in an overseas territory, but you need to be American when you're born. So if you change and become a US citizen, you still cannot be president. So for example, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the famous Austrian actor who lives in America, is he still? He was a governor. I don't know if he still is a governor, which is sort of a leader within a state. And some people said, it'd be funny if we have, Terminator as president, but he cannot become president because he wasn't born in the United States. You need to be born in the United States or be a citizen when you're born. You need to be at least 35 years old, and you need to have lived in America for 14 years. So you could, for example, be born in the United States, you be a citizen, but then you might go to live in another country for some time, like when you're a child. So if you want to be president, you need to come back to America and live there for 14 years first, and then you can run for presidency. Run for means sort of attempt to become a president, so run for presidency. Most of you listening, you probably cannot become the president of the United States, so I'm sorry to disappoint you. Maybe some of you are US citizens, but probably a lot of you are not US citizens, and you might not have been living in America for 14 years, so you probably can't become president of the United States. If you can, good luck. That's the requirements, and then if you fit these requirements, then you need to join a political party. So a political party means a group of people who have the same idea and form a group to do politics, to work in the government. So we call these groups parties. It's not a party like, well, hey, let's drink some beer. It's just a group of politicians working together is a party. So in America, they have two main parties, Republicans, who are more right-wing, more conservative, so more kind of concerned about money and business. And then we have the Democrats, who are more left-wing, which means they're more kind of interested in social issues, environmental issues, maybe sort of, more interested in helping people, not so much in the economy on the right wing. But I don't want to get too much into political ideals. Today I just want to explain the kind of process. So once you join a party, it could be one of these big two parties, or it could be your own party. Kanye West, the rapper, tried to start his own party this year, but it didn't work out very well, thankfully. I think it could be a bit of a disaster if Kanye West was president. So you can make another party, or you can join one of these, and then you need to become leader of your party. So in America, it's a bit different from the UK where I'm from. They have something called primaries or caucuses. So if your party does a primary, it's when all the members of your party vote for who they want to be a leader. And a caucus is more of a discussion, and everybody comes to a conclusion about who they want to be leader. This part, even for me, is a bit confusing, to be honest. As you know, I'm from the UK, so I don't know so much about US politics, but maybe even people living in America, this could be confusing because there are many different ways to do primaries and caucuses. So sometimes they're kind of, the votes are secret, so no one knows who's voting. And then other times it's kind of open, so they have these open and closed. But basically at this step, you need to become leader of your party, and then you can go to the next step, which is the national conventions, which basically is when they kind of declare to the public who the winner of the election for the party leader. So who became the leader of the party is declared, or is told to the public, is announced to the public. So they'll probably be, they definitely will be appearing on TV and things, and they'll say, oh, this person is leader of this party, this person's leader of this party. So last election, this happened for Donald Trump. He became the leader of the Republican Party, and then you would see him in the debates, so like the kind of arguments they do on TV. The leader of the Democrats last time was Hillary Clinton. This time it is Joe Biden. So they would have gone through that process to become leader of their party first, and then they're representing their party. So once you have the leaders representing their parties, then they will choose a vice president. So they will choose like a second in command. So they're the leader, and then they need kind of, boss number. If they're boss number one, they need kind of boss number two. So they choose like a vice leader or a vice president, and then they enter into the general election process. Like I mentioned earlier, that's when you're actually voting for who is going to become the president. So during this time, there will be debates. Like I mentioned earlier, they'll appear on TV and they'll discuss or argue about their different ideas. They'll also be going on tour around the United States, going to different states and talking to big groups of people. They'll be appearing on TV. They'll be handing out, not personally, but they'll have people handing out flyers and information for them, knocking on doors, basically what's called soliciting. So they'll be going around and trying to convince people to vote for the person they support. So quite a long process, lots of work involved, lots of money involved. And this is why it's very difficult for other political parties, So same in the UK, same in America. I think a lot of countries you have two main parties, and if someone else wants to make their own party, it's quite difficult because you need a lot of money and you need a lot of support to win an election, because there's lots of kind of basically advertising going on to try and get people to vote for who you want to vote for. So that's the process that leads up to the general election. And then the election itself happens. So that's what will be happening later today in the United States. People will be going to a voting station or a polling station, and they'll be writing on a ballot. And a ballot is the piece of paper which you choose. Well, you don't really write, you just put a cross. So the ballot paper will have the names of the candidates and the vice candidate, or the person who will be vice president, and you put your cross and you put it in the box. But then it's not so simple because then you might think, oh, okay, whoever gets the most votes is the winner. But unfortunately, it's not so simple. So in America, or in the United States, they have something called the Electoral College. And that is not a college like a university. I don't really know why they call it that. But in America, people vote, but they're not exactly voting for... So they'll choose the name of the president that they want, but it won't directly elect that person. They'll actually be voting for somebody to represent them in the election. So if this is confusing, don't worry, because even for native English speakers, this process is a bit confusing. But basically, they're voting for somebody within their state to vote for them. And this system, a lot of people have a problem with this system because some states have more influence than others. So I'm looking at a map here, and for example, some of them like have 4 representatives, and some states can have 55 representatives. So some states can kind of have more power than others. So some people feel like their vote isn't important. They feel like they'll vote, but their vote doesn't have as much power or as much strength as somebody who lives in a different state. So we saw this in the last election because Hillary Clinton actually got more votes than Donald Trump. So more citizens, more people in America or in the United States voted for Hillary Clinton. So she got more people's support. But Trump won by the Electoral College. So even though Clinton got more votes, more people wanted her to be president, Trump still became president because the people who had voted for him, because of this system of dividing up people's votes, he won by this kind of Electoral College process. So you can understand a lot of people were very angry last time, and they have been in the past as well, because they feel like their vote is not as important as somebody else's vote. And yeah, I kind of agree. I think that isn't a very fair system. So if you're wondering why don't they stop this process, it's because it's part of the Constitution. And Constitution means like the set of rules that a country decides on a long time ago. Basically when the country begins, when they form the government, and they're very, very hard to change. So perhaps one day it could change, but probably not for a long time. So yeah, and then if you win the Electoral College, then you become president of the United States. So like I said, maybe a lot of you listening don't fit the requirements, but if you do, good luck. Maybe you don't have much chance this time, but maybe next, in another 4 years, perhaps you can enter and perhaps you'll have a chance to become president of the United States. So tomorrow, the election will be announced. Here in Japan it's 3rd of November, so maybe tomorrow we'll have an answer, or perhaps if they begin counting the online votes and mail votes, then it will take a bit longer. So we'll see what happens there. Anyway, thank you all very much for listening today. Please come back if you're interested in the election, because I'll probably make another episode after the results are declared, just to again give you some sort of listening practice of a slightly more difficult topic, hopefully increase your vocabulary so you can talk about these matters. So thank you all very much. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on YouTube, follow and review the podcast, and I'll see you all back here next time.